Okay, hello. I had, first of all, I'm a little bit hungover. Sorry about my voice. And if I'm unable to complete my sentences. But I had a lunch with a previous colleague who's a designer. And he talked about the project they're working on. And we generally talk a lot about design systems and stuff. What is like the boundary between a designer and like a programmer in terms of implementing the design and making it right and all that stuff. And he said he's on a project now where they're using Storybook. And what they did is that they deploy Storybook, and then one of the developers has added a button to every single story in Storybook, or like an add-on, which he can click, and then he's taken to the component on their GitHub repo, where he can then edit the code and change like the styling and stuff, and then create a pull request out of that, which is like an insanely unnecessary process. Well, that's the question. Like, does it have to work like that? It seems unnecessary, but this is really difficult to get. Like, if you take the perspective of bringing the designer more closer to the code, like how do you do that? Because they don't want to set up like a environment on their own computer and stuff. But still editing files directly on GitHub is like insane. So I started thinking about how Codesandbox can help in these scenarios. So what's kind of cool on Codesandbox is that you can set up these containers. And containers are like a complete environment. And in this case, it's a node environment. And what I've done here is basically I've forked someone else. I don't remember the name now, but I have to, well, I think it's still here. No, we can't see it, but I'll be sure to mention it in the video. Who set up a node environment with Storybook. Now, what's really cool about this is that, as we can see here, we have our Storybook in the preview, and we have the code on the left side, and it's all on a single URL. In this case, I've also shared it with the Codesandbox team, so everyone can like go in here and they can play around with it. Even live, we can play around with it. So what we can see here is that I have my components and I have the button here, just simple stuff. And then I have the stories. So the point here is that from this point, it's possible for anyone in the team to just jump on this URL and start writing code and change stuff around and even collaborate on it. But the really cool thing is, what if let's see, I need to fork this now. Yes, I want to fork my own sandbox. Okay, so I forked this one now. And the thing is, like, we want to be able to use this as part of an actual project. So how would we do that? Well, basically, you can just take this template, which I have here, you can fork it, and then you can go to the GitHub tab, and we can sign in here. And then I can create a repo for it. So our project design system, for example. I'll create that repository. And when that's ready, blah, 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 we get to a point where we have the master of our project. And this is in sync with the master on GitHub, but I can't actually make like changes to the master because that's like frozen. But what happens when I start editing something here? For example, let's add another story. What is going to happen now is that, let's see, blah, 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 with nothing, something like that. Let's see here. And then I'll save that. And what happens now is that it forks it. And the reason it forks it is because we are kind of like branching out on GitHub. So let's see when it fires up now. I could have forked it manually first, but it automatically does it when I save the code. So let's just wait for the container of this branch to fire up. Drink some coffee. Cool. So there we are. Now we have this with nothing thing. And the point here is that in terms of developer experience, even though we're on the container, and I type something here and I'll save it, and you see it just instantly pops up. So you have that really smooth experience inside Codesandbox. So what you would typically do in this process, you would like go to the master, go to the master, and then you would fork it if you wanted to do some changes. And then you do the changes like I did here now. And then I go to the GitHub tab, and it tells me I've done some changes there, and I can say added a new story, new button story, added a new story for button. And then I guess I can commit that. So, and then if we go to the project, personally, I've actually never done this. So let's see how this looks now. Oh yeah, sorry. So I just committed it directly to master now, which I can do, or I can make a different change. Other change, let's see. So this depends on your process in your project, of course. Other change, blah. And then I can rather open a PR for that. So you want to verify it. And oh, I had my pop-up blocked here. I want to always allow Codesandbox to do that redirect. And then we can have a look. So here we have the URL to the pull request. It's coming from Codesandbox, blah, 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 create pull request. And there we are. Sorry for messing that up a little bit, but I hope you get the point here. The point here is that to get going with the design system, you can go in, and we haven't made this an official template yet, but I hope this video will like move our team to actually make it an official template, so you find it in the template universe. And so basically what you do, you just go to the template universe, you click the Storybook template, and then you can, for example, put it in your team and connect it to a repo, and then you're off, and you can just start implementing stuff. And then in your project, you would of course bring this repo into the project, and whenever you need to update it, you just pull it, and then you have the latest version, and you just go and grab the components directly from the components folder. So here you would typically like create an alias or something that allows you to import like from an absolute what's it called? URL, like not URL, but path, absolute path. So you would do like import button from, for example, you could just have components, for example, something like that. Anyways, yes, I guess that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. And I hope you liked it. And maybe you'll see this as a template on the template universe of Codesandbox very soon.